Welcome, Jesters. Today we are going to talk about transit. I said this channel we would talk about a lot of different things, and yes, today we're going to talk about transit, but particularly we're going to talk about transit advocates, particularly here in the West and or here in the United States, and how they are responsible for the absolute crap transit that we have here in the United States. Surprise, surprise. I don't mind transit at all. I have used it all over the world, and there are some amazingly easy, efficient, and rapid systems out there that I would love to have here in the United States, but we just can't because the vast majority of transit advocates, I'm really talking about the whole YouTube crowd, they still labor under this ridiculous fantasy that the government can provide this service, despite decades of evidence that it cannot. Just look at the MTA, the Washington Metro Transit, Los Angeles, BART. Yeah, that is government transit. And as much as they talk about all the rather superficial things like the rolling stock and everything like that, people are afraid to use these. They use them, but they don't actually want to. They don't want to use them in the way that people in, let's say, Tokyo or Hong Kong or up until maybe not too long ago, even London, people were perfectly fine with too. But here in North America, comparatively, our transit sucks. Even here in Miami-Dade County, even newly red Miami-Dade County, our transit agency is only slightly, at best, you can describe it as only slightly dysfunctional, right? It runs. It is reasonably reliable. It has decent coverage. We don't really have a problem with people hanging out on the train that really shouldn't be on the train, things like that. It happens. Of course, it happens everywhere, but it's not really a problem. But as good or as not dysfunctional as our transit system is, it still lacks some incredibly basic service offerings that are absolutely inexcusable. There's no express service on the line, and even worse, there is no express service to the airport. Stop after stop after stop after stop. Yes, that's why people still pay for an Uber to go to the airport. And all these bureaucrats will just sit around and be like, well, we sent a train to the airport. Why is no one riding it? Because it takes forever. They don't understand. They do not understand. Government cannot provide this service because government actually has no interest, not like a mental interest, but they have no vested interest. There's no financial interest in providing a performant and high quality system. Because government is nonprofit and doesn't really have to worry about profits because they'll just ask for more money. They'll take more money from the taxpayers. They are basically, or a nonprofit is basically synonymous with failure. And we see this in almost every aspect of life. And when you point out these problems, when you point out the deficiencies of government in providing transit, the only thing the transit weenies ever say is, more funding! They just need more funding. What's that all? More funding will fix it. More investment will fix it. Right, like more investment, more funding has fixed the MTA? How many hundreds of billions of dollars have they burned through for what? For what? A subway system that people are literally afraid to use? Yeah, I don't think so. Funding is not the answer, right? The current structure of government running the subways or the transit agencies, it's not going to work. And when I say the government running it, they are just government agencies, right? Now, contrast this to other systems around the world, the gold standards that they will often point to, and you're going to find something very, very different. While they might be government-owned, there are still corporations which have a very corporate-like governance structure, and they are expected to make money. And there's some systems that are actually private companies closely associated with the government ownership, but they're still companies that are expected to make money. Look at the Hong Kong Metro. It is beautiful. It is extensive. It goes almost anywhere. The trains are fast and efficient. They come like every 3 minutes. When I was there, both times they were never crowded. The rides, they get you to where you want to go with very, very little effort, except the walk, transferring downtown between the main line and the Admiralty line. That's quite a hike, but still, it's pretty easy because it's through a giant shopping mall. No, it really is. Right, but they found a way to make money. The Tokyo Metro has found a way to make money, right? The Delhi Metro operationally has found a way to make money. Same thing with Singapore. There are other metro systems around the world that occasionally, or more frequently than you would think, actually report at least operating profits. Yes, I know. Metro systems that are expected to report profits are actually good. I know, crazy. But the advocates in this country, they absolutely cannot accept this. And when you point this out, they always come up with some weird, spurious, nonsense logic to say that that's not it. That's not it. The only problem here in America is investment and funding. No. You have to be willing to accept that the government cannot do this, and a different model has to be found. And it is going to involve private management and a profit motive. It's been proven to work around the world. Now, I'm amiable to different models. For instance, like the Delhi Metro is genuinely a public-private partnership. Okay, the government invests in the infrastructure and likely still owns the infrastructure, but the actual operator of the system, they are expected to make money. And even if it takes relying on the greed of politicians, the most greedy people that we know, politicians, say we're going to put some of this profit into an unrestricted fund to invest in the community. Yes, I'm saying we're going to tell the politicians we're going to put the profits into a fund that you can steal from. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that. Whatever gets us good transit, let's do it. Right, whatever it takes. But the government simply cannot run it on its own. It has to be a privately run, profit-motivated endeavor. Even Transport for London, with all its weird governmental relationship, occasionally reports profits. Yes, believe it or not. They are in multiple businesses, and they are expected to make money. Even just the expectation of making money is enough to provide a good service. So, my friends in the transit advocates community, just give it up. Give it up. No matter how much funding you pour into these government agencies, like the MTA, like BART, they will never provide a service that comes anywhere close to what exists in the rest of the world, because they're just not expected to provide any efficiency. And remember, profit is not bad. Profit is the efficiency that an organization can derive in the economy. And that's what we want. Yes, the government cannot do it. And all you're going to do is keep complaining about the failings of domestic transit or of U.S. transit because they're not making money, nor are they expected to. I'm right.